You leave a conversation and immediately hear one sentence again in your head. Maybe you made a joke that did not land or answered too quickly, used the wrong word, or told a story that felt normal until the room became quiet. Hours later, the conversation is over for everyone else, but in your mind the scene is still running. You replay the facial expressions and adjust the sentence in imaginary versions. You wonder whether people now see you differently, as the memory grows sharper than the event. What lasted 5 seconds in the room can occupy an entire evening in your mind. The painful assumption is that other people are replaying it too. But most of the time, they are busy replaying themselves. Every person carries a private camera that records your mistakes in close-up. Other people see you through a much wider shot, as one person in a room, filled with their own worries, plans, insecurities, and unfinished tasks. The moment that feels like the center of your story may be a background detail in theirs. This does not mean no one notices awkward moments, as people notice many things. The important difference is between noticing and storing the event. A listener may register the joke, then immediately think about what they should say next. The event enters their mind, then leaves through another door. Your mind holds it longer because it belongs to your identity and your fear of rejection. The brain treats social mistakes as possible threats because belonging matters. It scans the memory for information, asking what went wrong and what it means about me. That protective system can become overactive, polishing the memory until it feels like evidence. The facial expression becomes more negative, and the pause becomes longer. The imagined judgment becomes more certain as you edit a moment into a larger story. A useful mental model is the spotlight and the crowd. You feel a spotlight because you can hear every thought inside your own head, but the crowd is not watching one stage, as each person is focused on themselves. Social anxiety tells you there is one large audience. Reality is often a collection of small private performances. One common mistake is trying to achieve perfect social safety. You plan every sentence, monitor your face, and check your tone. You search for signs that the interaction is going well. This creates more pressure because part of your attention leaves the conversation. It becomes a security guard, and instead of listening, you watch yourself listening. Instead of responding, you grade the response before it is complete. The result can feel less natural, which then becomes evidence for self-criticism. You may believe the awkwardness proves you need even more control, but often the control itself is just making the interaction heavy. A better reframe is to treat social moments as shared, unfinished events. Conversations are messy. People interrupt, misunderstand, and say things that are strange. Most relationships are not built from perfect sentences. They are built from patterns, warmth, reliability, attention, humor, care, and repeated contact. One awkward phrase is a single tile, but anxiety turns it into the whole floor. Step back and look for the pattern. Were you generally respectful? Did you try to connect? Is there any real evidence the relationship changed? If the answer is no, the moment does not deserve the meaning your mind assigned. When a replay begins, try separating the facts from your imagination. The fact might be, I made a comment and 2 people did not respond. The imagination might be, they think I am embarrassing and will remember this. Facts are often short, but anxiety writes a long sequel. You can also use a fairness test and think of someone else making that mistake. Would you decide that this one sentence revealed their entire personality? The compassion you offer others is evidence that memory is less severe than critics suggest. If you did genuinely hurt or confuse someone, the solution is simpler than replay. Clarify, apologize, or correct the message, as a direct repair closes the loop. Rumination feels like responsibility, but it often produces no actual repair. It simply keeps you inside the scene. Another step is to set a review boundary. Give yourself a few minutes to ask, is there something useful to learn? Is there something I need to repair? If the answer is no, continuing is not analysis. It is repetition. You can name it. My brain is checking the social alarm again. Then return attention to the physical room around you. Feel your feet. Notice a sound, or complete a small task. The goal is not to force the thought away. It is to stop the private cinema. Social confidence is not the belief that you will never be awkward. It is the belief that awkwardness is survivable. You can miss a joke, lose a word, or misread a moment. without losing your place among other people. When you allow small imperfections, you become more available for real connection. Think again about the sentence you replayed after leaving the room. In your mind, it was written across a giant screen. In everyone else's day, it was probably one subtitle among hundreds. They went home to their own unfinished conversations, their own worries, and the sentences they wish they had said differently. It can help to remember how little detail you retain about other people's minor awkward moments. You may remember the general warmth of a dinner, but not who used the wrong word. You may remember that a meeting felt tense, but not the exact sentence that caused a pause. Memory compresses social events into impressions. Your own mistake resists compression because you keep reopening the file. Stop reopening it, and the memory is allowed to fade in the same ordinary way. The moment felt large because you were inside it. That feeling is real, but the imagined audience may not be. Let the sentence become its actual size again. A small human moment in a life full of other moments already fading for almost everyone, including, eventually, you.